Are psychedelic drugs a way of expanding consciousness? They can be. And can they facilitate spiritual experience? Yeah, absolutely. All psychedelic experiences? Certainly not. But things like ayahuasca, DMT, I believe, although I never personally have tried it, the descriptions of it, I believe, yeah. And so can meditation, mindfulness. I don't know about what are those sensory deprivation chambers, but I believe they can help. These are modernist ways of trying to get back to what was readily and easily achievable by within the Christian world by hesychasm. I mean, there was a point when and there was definitely a period in the West during between the 11th century and the 13th century, where monks were consuming psilocybin. This is true, and then people say, "Oh, Jesus was a mushroom," just because people, groups of monks, 1,000 years after the death of Christ, were consuming psilocybin. That doesn't bear on history, but it's a very interesting thing. Was it heretical or blasphemous? Well, no. That was just part of their spiritual discipline. Does that mean, anybody should be able to do that and get? No, because again, they were in a specific setting. They used it for a specific purpose. It's the difference between an Amazonian Indian tribe using ayahuasca and some club kid. Maybe I'm dating myself because club kids are from like the 90s and early 2000s. Taking, a bunch of ayahuasca and DMT, and then when he comes down from it, selling it and then killing somebody who tried to screw him over on a deal, What spiritual experience did he get out of that? What tie to his ancestors did he get from that? Where was I going with this again? I know where I was going with this. The discipline of the monks, especially the stylites, as well as just the monastic mindfulness that people have forgotten, and all of a sudden people are talking about mindfulness and then speaking about Vipassana and Zen, and it's like, you guys never heard of hesychasm. Oh, that's right, because it was blotted out from our teachings, and it wouldn't have been taught in any Western Christian church, but readily available in all Eastern churches. There was a monk one time. I don't know if he was a novice or if he was actually took his vows, but he was sitting in his cell, and he was practicing mindfulness, and he had this great thing happen to him, apparently, and he ran to the abbot and he said, Father, I can see through walls. I have been contemplating. I have been observing the now, and basically, it's all just like. I don't want to say it's just like Vipassana and just like Zen, because Zen is not Vipassana, Vipassana is not Zen. But you get the idea. Practicing this form over hours, he says, I can see through walls. And the abbot said, don't worry, that'll go away. Again, this is not the goal of mindfulness, of sitting, of the waking awareness. It's not the point. Now, mindfulness has become a fad, which is irritating. Although it's not as irritating to me as many things. I mean, people call everything mindfulness, but when if that causes somebody to find a true way to do it, whether they find it through Vipassana or Zen, which again, places that teach that I think could be very dangerous because makes it very susceptible to a cult. But if you have a good teacher, and you know when you can say, okay, I'm good with this group, and it should be a 4 to 6 month period that you get all the essentials, and you say, okay, now I can go on my own. But also, it should be guided. It should be put in the moral backdrop, or in the cultural backdrop of your culture and the priorities and responsibilities of your culture, right? Instead of just running away to India and shaving your head and some yogi is God, and then you realize he had sex with a bunch of underage people and he has 15 Rolls Royces. That's not the benefit of mindfulness. That's just hypnotizing yourself and becoming a slave. Mindfulness might be called a form of hypnotism, but it's extremely useful. And again, I mistrust monasteries, but as Gregory Palomas had said over 700 years ago, this is from the beginnings of our tradition, beginnings of Christianity, actually maybe even predating it, what he calls the pre-Christian world, and the pre-Christian Christians, pre-Jesus Christians, basically, and that doesn't mean like the Greeks and stuff. This means like Joaquin and Anna, the Baptist, and the meditations of the elders. But this form of practice is extremely helpful. Again, I've always been critical of this, of the monasteries and the harsh control a bad abbot, the destruction and damage a bad abbot can do to a sincere and devout follower. So again, this will just be another one of the topics, and I'll finish this conversation in the planned expansion of this channel, and hopefully I can get funding for it, because I don't even have a laptop right now, and my means to get one, I don't have the means, or the ends, I guess you'd call it, the Skrilla, that paper. So I'll set up a Patreon, definitely, and I might even give out gifts or rewards or whatever on top of making a video, because I don't think you should get something for I shouldn't get something and give you nothing, right? I mean, the point of it is to build up not necessarily myself, but the channel and the message, all right? And all the other Eastern and Oriental Orthodox have vanished from here. Gambler, David P. Witham, and we're left with many crackpots out there. So I hope you get behind me in this, and it'll be under El Cadorce, Victoriano Ramirez, Sandinista. I probably should put this up on that channel, as well as the Yusuf Reyes channel. All right. Peace to you. May God save Serbia, Syria, and Ireland. And at least this will be beneficial to the atheist and the anti-theist as well. Again, we believe. Well, I'll get into that later a bit, but I think the people who will be shocked by it the most would be the Shia, the Ibadi, the Zoroastrians, the Yazidi, the Mandaean, the Hindu, and the Buddhist, because they will hear an Eastern or Oriental Orthodox speak no hostility about them, and actually talk about the very helpful things that those traditions gave to the world, and in many ways are closer to us than those who identify as Christians under the sectarianism of Protestant Western modern Protestantism, And the even though that our yes, we will be speaking of the Nicene Creed and the ancient Christian documents and things like that. And no, we won't be going into any liberalism, but the ancient Eastern wisdom is not liberalism, nor is it New Ageism. It predated all of that, just as the Bible predates science. All right, peace to you. May God save Serbia, Syria, and Ireland.